Hi, this is Kim Pinkney and welcome to my channel. Well, today I'm going to try to get through a drawing so fast that I can at least color it, at least in color pencil. Let's see. So just to make sure I've got everything straight here. So this is dead center right here, as long as I don't move it. Okay. So come about here. And usually I try to draw a circle roughly the size that I want to work with. Of course, I'd never stay there. So just to see if I can keep my butt in the area. I'm going to throw the hat on. And what I'm thinking about doing is a Steampunk Pirate. I love steampunk. And I just love all kinds of themes. And I love to combine themes. Still trying to decide how I want to do the face. Let's see. I got so much stuff next to me. I've got water galore. Okay, let's see if I can bring my light closer here. There we go, so I can at least see. Now I'm going to tilt it up just a little bit. It may help you see a little bit better too. You know, just roughly drawing in where I think the eyes are going to be. Brow. And I'd like to just throw a couple shout outs to some of my new subscribers. Thank you for subscribing. And don't be a stranger. Feel free to tell me if you have any thoughts, any comments, criticisms, things that you'd like to see, things that would be cool. You can tell me about your art journey, things like that. My thing is that I like using Crayolas. I also like drawing on t-shirts. So I'm wondering maybe, and I also like the my old 80s cartoons and stuff. So like next month I'm like gonna go all out with cartoons. I'm gonna take some time and jot down some of my favorite ideas, and then I'm just going to see if I can draw a few of my favorite cartoon characters that I loved as I was growing up. And it wasn't like the heavily cartoons, like, you know, Hanna-Barbera with like Yosemite, not Yosemite Sam. I kind of like Yosemite Sam. That was Bugs Bunny. I'm not going to draw those characters. I am mostly into the ones that look like humans, and they actually told really cool stories. Like one of my favorites was Thundar the Barbarian. Oh my gosh, loved that cartoon. I love Static Shock, gargoyles, things like that. So that's what I kind of want to focus on. And I don't know if I'm going to put them on a sketchbook or if I'm going to actually put them on a t-shirt, because I think it would be awesome to wear my favorite 80s characters on a t-shirt. You know, things that you just can't find nowadays. My shadows are pretty harsh. Let me see if I can move this light so I don't have such a heavy shadow. There we go. Hopefully that helps a bit. Is that bright? I think that might be brighter. Okay. I'll just bring this up a bit. Yeah, and I mean, I was pretty much raised on cartoons. I wasn't an outside cat, and I was more of an inside cat when I was a kid. And I drew a lot. I wasn't always very good, but I tried. And I never gave up that love of drawing and trying to create. And I drew what was around me. I drew what I saw. It was mostly people, though. So I had fun with that. So, and also it's like, in my little art journey, I took influences wherever I could. Like I might be dating myself, but when I was growing up, they showed old Alfred Hitchcock. What was it? What was that? I think it was Alfred Hitchcock Presents. It was like reruns, and my mom used to like to watch him. She used to love to watch. What was it? She liked to read his the Alfred Hitchcock novels and short stories and stuff like that. I guess he had there was an anthology named after him or something like that. I remember seeing a lot of horror books and mystery books and stuff like that in her library. She had lots of books on the shelf, so naturally I gravitated to the books, but more to the artistic version of it. Let's see, I'm gonna throw some little baby hairs on here, and I'll give her the tricorn hat in a sec. Let me bring that down a bit so we can see it. She's going to have a bit of a scarf, because I'm sure this hat probably chafed a bit. Plus, it also gives you an opportunity to, or gives me an opportunity to throw a skull and crossbones on it as well. Anyway, getting to it. There was in the Alfred Hitchcock Presents, in his logo, there was this symbol. He would step into it. It would look like this, like this, like this. I think it had lips, and then the chin. And I'm like, huh, if I connect that, and he would walk into it, and that would be the profile. And I'm like, huh. So I saw that, and every time I'd see that, it would just kind of make me go, huh. So I would look at that, and then I'm like, okay, let me connect the lines. And then I noticed I could make different profiles from that. So I basically learned how to draw the side of the face as a kid using Alfred Hitchcock Presents type of thing. So it's like, when you don't have a lot of resources, as far as nowadays, you can go on YouTube and there's lots of videos you can find on how to draw the face, how to, you got help all over the place. When I was a kid, I didn't. Like I said, I had to go to a library if I wanted to learn things. Or I'd have to learn off of comic books and coloring books and things like that on how to draw. I really did kind of study my cartoons. But the problem when you're a kid is that you have grandiose ideas in your head and you try to get them out on paper, and just when you think you've captured it, you got somebody looking over your shoulder going, what's that? Oh my gosh, I got that all the time. I mean, all the time. I remember telling my dad about one of my drawings, and this is, because when I was a kid, I didn't share my drawings with my family. Not until I was much older, and they stopped asking me, what's that? I knew that once people stopped asking me, oh my gosh, what is that? in that same kind of sneer and whatnot. You know, once I finally got people stop asking me things like that, I tried to give it like a little jagged edge around the hat. I knew I was, it was suitable, my art was suitable enough for human consumption. And I apologize, I'm not really monitoring the chat because I'm just trying to make sure that I stay within the boundaries. But I gotta remember, if I move my paper ever so slightly, I just need to double check to make sure I'm still on camera. So I apologize if anybody's popped on and greeted me and I never got to greet you back. No worries this morning, but just in case. I'm not being like snub or anything like that. It's just that, you know, my eyes are in like several different places, and now I'm in the chat. I can see. Anyway, I digress again. Yeah, so as a kid, you got grandiose ideas of what you want or what you vision, and it doesn't always, you know, appear. And there's a difference between drawing in your, you know, drawing from your mind and drawing, you know, what you see. So I encourage you to take a moment. Yeah, you're drawing from your mind. You get that mind's eye idea of what you want to do, but see if you can find some source images to kind of back up your idea. It helps to keep you grounded. And then there's a tendency to want to throw everything in there. Like from this picture right here, like I want to do a whole full body. I can't. I can't do a full body. I mean, I'm already too big for a full body. And you got to kind of think that the head is like, your body is like 6 to 8 heads long. The only way that I would be able to get a full body into this is if I just mess with the perspective. And if you can't get your whole body in there, you're going to have to redraw your picture. You know, just remember that your head is 6 to 8 heads long. And then you'll know you can't force it. If you force it, then it becomes a cartoon character. It may as well be. And I wish that was knowledge that I had back when I was a kid. And I was drawing. But there are many a time when I have huge head, tiny hands, big fat body, you know, or tiny head. You know, my proportions were totally off because I didn't know what proportions were. You know, all I knew is I had an idea in my head and I had to get that bad boy out. I just had to do this. All right. And I can't imagine that the sea would be kind to pressed hair. And still, again, my proportions are a little off. I need to bring this up higher. Her brow line. There we go. And then this can be a little higher too. Let me see. Yeah. I'll just bring this up a little higher. And that gives me plenty of room for her eye makeup, her eyebrow, her eye socket. This is a pirate who takes care of her appearance. Could give her a scar. That'd be kind of cool too. You know, she's an ambitious pirate. I'm not just here to look good. And let's see, I want to give her like a little nose ring. There we go. And I'm trying to figure out what I will do with something that small. Give her a little mole. Some eyelashes. Okay. Alright. How am I going to do this body? Let's see, I'll just be able to get her shoulders. We gotta have a sword. Well, we'll give her a cutlass of some sort. I don't know. A rapier, maybe? Let me bring this down some. Sorry about that, if any of this was cut off. Okay. Dun, dun, dun. Make sure I can see it. Yeah, okay. Yeah, this sword has got a heck of a curve. It shouldn't be curved that much, though. Let's see. Let's taper it back down this way. Let's see, we got the little hand guard here. Let's see, her hand is probably way down here. We'll give her some long sleeves with long cuffs. Let's see. And I'll just let this arm taper off. Okay, let's see. I think I want to give her big collar. So like maybe she's wearing a man's clothing. Okay, let me put the chat back up, so just in case anybody says anything. Oh, alright. And then, let's see. So I guess our pirate queen is a crossdresser. No. It's a man's sea and she's making her own. Let's see. Won't really see too much cleavage here, so I'm gonna not put it in. Alrighty. And now, let's see if we can throw some steampunky type of things into this. Let me bring this down a bit so we can see the horn, tricorn ahead. Okay, I like the skull and crossbones, but instead of crossbones, I think I'm going to have wrenches. And I may end up changing up that sword too. So I'll have a skull, maybe biting on the wrenches here. Okay, let me put some music back on. Let's see. Do. Let's get some random stuff in here. I never listened to the blues on this. Let's see. Let's see if we can use some basic shapes here. Give it a little jaw. We'll do an open end wrench here. Ooh, and maybe a hammer. Never did a hammer on here. So you have like a cross wrench and a hammer. We'll do an open end and a box end. Yeah, if you guys have a channel, I'd love to check it out. I would subscribe. you don't have to subscribe to me if you don't want to. But I would love to see your guys' work, what you guys come up with, and if any of my humble etchings have inspired you, I'd love to see what you come up with. Again, what I do is I basically take just a couple different themes and then just kind of merge them together. Let me quickly show you what I was working on yesterday. Usually the only time I get to draw is like when I'm on the bus, and while it's bouncing and jouncing, and every now and then it'll slow down long enough so I can do some inking. Very not very often though. This is one that I started on where it's a little girl and she's picking something up, but I haven't quite figured out what she's going to pick up yet. So right now I'm just, as I'm brainstorming on what she's picking up, I'm just doing the braids in her hair, and I saw a little girl on the bus who had beads, and I remember what it was like to have beads in my hair way back in the day when I was little. You know, I loved how they clanked together. I loved how they made noises, and they just moved my hair, because my hair didn't move. I had like really thick afro sheep hair. And when I got my hair in beads, it was like, oh wow, feel the freedom. It's like, oh, I'm so pretty. And beads were awesome. A little bit later, I had drawn, or earlier rather, in the morning, I found this really good looking guy, and I was like, oh, let me draw him. And he had this beautiful hair. I'm like, oh my goodness, I gotta draw this guy. So I pretty much like, I loved how he just had all this flowing hair. I don't know, it's almost godlike. I mean, wow, all that freaking hair. Let's see. So that's definitely hair practice. I was doing this one as well. I did this one starting first thing in the morning. And I wanted to do finger waves. This crayon gets every freaking where. Oh well, I'll make it work. Finger waves. And I had like a little model, and I was thinking about trying to make her into one of those 20s type models, but I'm not sure. Like, I was gonna have her shoulder come out like right here, and then maybe do something intricate here, You know, just to make her look so elegant and stuff. I was even thinking about coloring it, and this was just a doodle that I did right before that one. And this is what I had done on yesterday's live stream. Okay, the live stream before I go. So, let's see if we can go ahead and finish this up. Okay, so, finish up the hammer. And it's going to be going through the mouth there. And we'll have like this offset chin. And we'll just give it like really crazy teeth here. I'm wondering, I could kind of make this fish-like. Nah. Let's see. So we got that. Okay, and trying to make sure that these the lines kind of meet up. Alrighty, and so far so good. Alrighty. Okay, so today I'm gonna like color with Crayolas. Let me just bring her shoulder down a bit. I'm debating on whether or not I want to go ahead and use, you know, outline, but we'll see how it goes. I'm not sure if I want to outline it or not. Maybe I'll outline it eventually, just to make sure that things stand out like they should. And I know I'm going to probably do something steampunkish to this sword. I got to. Okay. And then I want to do something to her earrings. Maybe put a clock on it or something. Okay, let's fix this here. Let's see. I've got a steampunk coloring book. And I want to see if they've got any clocks or something like that that I could probably use. And it's kind of cool to see different elements that I could probably incorporate into my drawings. Let's see. This one is not as good as the other one. It's got some really cool stuff in it, but on the whole, it's not my fave. There's some really cool elements. Like, I kind of like this right here. And this is Steampunk Devices. I got this from AOE. It's an art supply store. And it's pretty much like for college students and stuff like that. But it's pretty cool. It's a really cool store. I am looking for like a clock. I just want a clock style. And if I can't find one, I'll just improvise. I don't think I'm going to find one in this one. Oh, that's pretty cool. Temperature gauges. Ah, here we go. Okay, so we got some clocks here. I think that would make an interesting earring. Like, both of them should be like different time zones. Eastern Standard, Atlantic, whatever. This is kind of cool too. I was thinking about even coloring this one. I like this idea of Valkyries. So I might end up drawing a person with mechanical wings, or like taking this, like an image of one of these characters, and then flipping it the other way so you can see her doing her thing. It's kind of cool. Let's see. I like this design here. That's pretty cool. And I think it's the same thing that's here on the cover. I like at the very top here, it's got like this type of thing going on. It's funny. I only saw one clock. Some of the other things that I've seen had tons of clocks. Okay. Well, let's see what we got here. We'll incorporate a couple of the things we just saw. These are going to be some heavy earrings. Okay, so we have 12 here. We have 3 here. We have 6 here. And we have 9 here. Let's see. It is now 5:36 my time. So let's see if I can do a 5:36 here. 30. This would be where 7 is, so maybe about right. And we'll make it kind of, whoops, wrong end. We'll just make it kind of wiggly. And I think around the edges here. Oh, you know what I've been seeing lately on people are, what do you call them? Earrings, or rings that go like around the ears. I've even seen them out in, you know, on people, like in my neighborhood. I'm like, oh, that is so cool. I'll have like a tentacle. So I'll have like an octopus going around her ear. And we'll make it, or maybe it's not an octopus. I do want an octopus though. Maybe a squid? There we go. Squids are awesome. And it's just like it just grips her ear here. Okay. I could have it gripping, well, I don't want to make the earrings too heavy. And then we got the back of this one. And let's go ahead and at least put like This is where it contacts the earlobe. You would think that her ear would be like pulled down, something this big. I need a second hand. I can have the second's hand be a sword, like a tiny little sword. And then we'll just make these like, I was thinking about making like little elegant Roman numerals, but who's got the time? Who's got the time? I can at least make my circle kind of clean. Okay, it's 5:40. I've got a few more minutes. Okay, this is becoming one of those Salvador Dali melted clock type of things. Alrighty. Okay, so let me go ahead and start coloring her. Gosh, I'm really debating on inking this in. Okay. Da, da, da. Okay, so usually what I do is usually I coat this with baby oil, and what it does is it makes the pencils pop out a little bit more. It also makes them a little bit smoother, but this time I'm going to just go ahead and watch it shatter. Oh, lovely. Yeah, usually I coat it with baby oil and it makes it nice and smooth, and these are, I use Crayolas. I do have Prismacolors, but I like Crayolas, and I kind of want my channel to be about inexpensive art supplies. Everything I have is that I use is under $20. From the things that I usually use to line, and I think I'll do that. I'll go ahead and outline. I didn't know if I'd have time for this, but I'm going to make time just to make it kind of bold. These Prismacolor, these are Prismacolor Premier. They call themselves markers, fine line markers. Let me see if it'll get it to stay focused. Fine line marker, and this is like a 0.05, and it's kind of like a perfect size for this. Sometimes I use the Pentel Art Pen pocket brush, I think this was called, but I have a lot more control, and I think that Pentel is really good for like cartoony type stuff too, and people who are really advanced with inking. I am not that advanced with inking. But I like these because I use them on my t-shirts when I do t-shirts. They don't wash out. It may fade just a bit, like it's not extremely vibrant, but it gets the job done, and they last forever on the shirt. Like you see how it's black like this on the paper, like it's meant to be. On a t-shirt, it's like a slightly faded, but it's still there. It's still, you can still tell it's black, and it's awesome. You know, and when you wash t-shirts, eventually, you know, things are gonna fade a bit. It always happens. It's the nature of the beast. Um, so kind of take that with a grain of salt if you do it yourself. The only way that you can make stuff like almost last forever is if you baby that shirt. Like you don't use harsh detergents. I wonder if I should make... I was thinking about making this kind of like into a fish shape. Like have like a fish going this way, but maybe next time. Maybe on another pirate. If I do another pirate. They'll be like the pirate bear, the Dread Pirate Barracuda. Let's see. Her hat's gonna see better days. Okay. And I think next Inktober, if I do another T-shirt, you know, on for Inktober, like I'm still like I got my Inktober shirt, but it's still got like unfinished stuff on it because I was trying to keep up with the days and my ideas. Some of them weren't too bad. The prompts were definitely challenging. They definitely had me questioning, do I really want to do this? But then some of the prompts were pretty cool, and I came up with some really cool stuff. And good morning to anybody who's been able to join me. Or a good day, whatever time that you are joining me. I'm only going to be here for a little bit because this is just a doodle that I do before work because I'm way too tired to draw by the time I get home from work. Like I ride a bike to work, and depending on if the buses are merciful and I get to catch them. Definitely determines how much energy I'm going to have left by the time I get into the house. But while I'm on the bus, I take that opportunity to draw. So I'll show off what I've been doodling on the bus as well. So time is not wasted. The book is definitely getting filled a little bit faster than I wanted it to. Like I've only got like maybe 4 or 5 pages left. Anyway, I'm gonna try to make the most of that. Alrighty, so hopefully everything is, you can see it a little bit better than my pencil drawing. Yeah, a lot of the stuff that I draw is sci-fi, fantasy, you know, I'm just like all over the place. Take a little bit of reality and mix it up. yeah, we'll just throw something fancy on here, just to kind of stylize it a bit. I could change these all into swords. That'd be kind of cool. And this one will be... instead of having like these little compass thingies. Oh, that would be cool. Put a little compass symbol here, but it might make it too busy. Let's see. And then this one right here. And kind of give it another knife here. And then I'll erase all that. Let's see. I could go ahead and also use my Crayola markers. Yeah, like I said, my channel is gonna all be about inexpensive art supplies. This book here, I think, was about maybe $8. This was $10. This set here for these Prismacolor Premier markers. My crayons, well, they're all over the place too, but they're usually less than 14. Same thing with the, what is it called? The markers, the Crayola markers, those are less. Even my water brush, I got that for like $2 at Walmart. So a lot of my stuff is bought at Walmart. Let me bring this back up so I can get the tip here. And I think I'll add some of the same symbols that I saw on the in the book onto my sword here. I'm trying to decide, do I want to do... Well, she's the captain, but then again, I like vests. It just gives me another pop of color. And then, let's see, if this was her shoulder, her boobs would be like way down here, so I really can't do cleavage, but it's not going to stop me from trying. Let's see, here we go. Just a little sensuality on the ocean, darling. Alright, let's see, and we have a little bit of her hair there. Okay, let me resharpen my white. The white color pencil is one of the... okay, let's see if it falls apart again. It might fall apart on me. It is. It's crumbling. Oh, poor thing. Yeah, they're not the best quality pencil. You know, it's... I think this one's really dry. Yeah, look at that. I put it to paper, it falls apart. So, this white is no bueno. So what I'll end up doing is using something not so dry, like a crayon. So I'll probably just use a little bit of white crayon on here. And if I need to blend it with anything, and it's all I'm using for this is just to make sure that I keep my highlights. Okay, and then I'll erase erase some of my lines here in a sec. Let's see. still have a little bit of time. I don't have a lot of time, so I might not get through this entire thing. Okay, I'm going to go over with, this is light brown. And one of the things I like about the colored pencils is that you can read the name and you can kind of plan around it. And I could save the coloring part for, or come back to it tomorrow. Let's see, or finish it on the bus. But when I'm on the bus, I like to do different things, other drawings, other random stuff. Now around the lips, usually there's a natural highlight around the lips. So I kind of leave that white. If you do like a little outline like I just did, you're going to have to match that in. Like if you're doing like a realistic picture, you're going to want to match that in with the hardness that I'm doing here. So if you don't want to go too dark, you're going to have to, you know, be very careful on how you use your pressure. I'm coloring on the side of the pencil, not on the tip. I only use the tip when I want to get really dark and precise, like right here. And I'll use a different color pencil here. And this is like a darker brown. This here is dark chocolate. When I like how creative they got with the names here. So I'll try to announce the colors that I'm using as I'm going. Now on some of her highlights, I'm going to use a peach. Usually the paper that I like to use is Bristol. It's smoother, it's heavy, and it can handle a lot of punishment, and it can handle a lot of you know, different mediums on it. And again, I'm doing like a light layer. Let's see. Alright. I wasn't watching the chat. I apologize if you would have said anything. Alright. Alright, so far these are the two colors that I've been using. I want to use a peach on a couple of the lighter areas. Like this right here is where the light's hitting it pretty hard. Hitting the face pretty hard. This is copper, but I want to go a little bit lighter. Let's see, this one here is this sand? Khaki. Okay, let me see what khaki does for us. That's not a bad tone. Now I kind of like how this white crayon is keeping me from going into my harsh highlight. And when I do want it to blend, what I'll be doing is I'll heat up the paper and I can get them to blend into each other. Now it's easier and it's preferable to use the color pencil first, because when these crayons are really harsh or dry versus the moistness of the wax, it's like two different mediums, I guess you can say. And this one really gets into the paper, and the crayons kind of sit on top of the paper. And the way the crayons are working, I'll end up scratching them off with this. So they kind of counteract each other. This one right here is Cantaloupe. It's kind of like a flesh tone, but it's also warm. And it works really great with her skin. So I'm using like a couple different colors to try to get the warmth of her skin. And that'll also bring your colorings to a whole nother level. Try using more than one tone on your work. Where it's dark, use a darker brown, or add some blue to it, and that'll darken it up as well. Now, this side of her face is a lot darker because it's away from the light, but it does lighten up just a bit on this side. So I need a little bit more of this light color here. This one is khaki again. So khaki is going to be kind of like my secondary highlight. It's not as bright as the white. And I take my colors into each other. So like this would probably be khaki around the edges. And I want to try to lighten it up with the white a bit. I do like using, I do like blending with the crayon. It just takes a long time on this kind of paper. I'll just throw a little bit more here. And that'll kind of lighten it up when I get ready. Let's see. Oh, I got about 10 minutes left. And to get into the paper, you want to do like circular motions. And that'll eliminate some of that white color, the tooth of the paper, a bit out of it. Another way to, you know, because you can see like the white of the paper coming through. You see it's kind of ugly. I like a smooth look. And I kind of get that with Bristol. But I don't have any Bristol on me. So I do, but it's huge. I've got like big pads of Bristol. So I'd have to end up cutting it somehow. Okay, so this is casting a bit of a shadow. So let me go ahead and use a little bit of this brown here. And we'll bring the shadow out and make it kind of fat. We'll get right up on the very edge. And I'm going to make that like really dark. And to darken that up, I'm going to use a bit of purple, not black. And that adds a little bit of something to it as well. And I'm going to use a little bit here. And purple will just help it be a little bit darker, and it's a cool color versus these warmer colors like this one right here. It'll make it stand out a little bit more. I'm not using a ton of pressure on here. I'm just kind of like coloring in layers. And I'm coloring in like a circular motion to try to get really into this paper here. I got 6 minutes. Color faster, Kimberly. Color faster. Yeah, I'm definitely not going to make it. but at least I'll get some of the face done. Now, take your time when you're, you don't have to rush out. Take your time with your drawings, your colorings. And what will happen is if you take your time, if you have source images, study those, see what colors are that you see in your source image, and bring that into your drawing. And if you're really super cool, you can make your own source images, so you don't have to depend on, Pinterest or Google Images or anything like that. They'll be uniquely yours. But, to save time, I'm mooching off of someone else. And then just changing it up and making it my own. I lost my mole. I'm going to have to put a mole somewhere else. Okay, let's see. And what I'm doing is I'm alternating pencils to get to the darkness or the color that I want, the tint that I want. Like I want a certain shade of brown in certain areas. Or like this shade of brown, just a little darker. This is light brown again. Now, if you like if you like Prismacolor, and you just can't afford Prismacolor, but try using your paper. Don't use it on. Don't do this on computer paper. Computer paper sucks with this. But try coating it with baby oil, and then working in layers. If you have a light touch where you're way back on your pencil like this, and you can get a lot of layers in. And if you've seen my Superman picture, the coloring book that I had done, that paper is like a cardstock, and it usually comes out. Pretty well. Give me one quick second. Oh, I got a new subscriber! Welcome, Oscar. Welcome to my channel. And if you guys ever have the time, let me know what brought you, what made you subscribe, other than me begging for subscribers. I'm not making any money on this because you have to be at a certain level to make money. You have to have like 1,000 subscribers at least, and over, I think, 80,000 views or something crazy like that. So I'm not in it for the money, honey. I'm in it for art. I love to draw, and I love having art friends, people who are on their art journey. I would love to see what people are coming up with. And and you can just grow together, because that's one of the things I didn't have as a kid. Is like I had friends that drew for a while. Okay, I've got a few minutes, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over some of this with crayon, the white crayon, and then I'm going to melt the white crayon into it and start blending some of this stuff in. And then I'm going to work in another layer on top of it if it doesn't wipe off the crayon. This is kind of like a little experiment for me. Usually I either work in one or the other on my mediums. Let's see. Give me one quick second. And what I also use are these blending stubs. And this is an art gun. Art gun is like about $11 online that I had bought. I had bought it online, and then these here are about like $2 or $3, and they come in a pack, and you can pick them up at Walmart. Yeah, I just want to do this experiment to see if this white would work as an alternative to my color pencil. And what heating it up does is it melts it, just enough so that you can move it. And you put enough on it, it becomes almost like a Prismacolor. Now, whether it would work, I have some glitter crayon from the last couple images still on this one. This poor blending stub has seen a lot better days. Yeah, you gotta catch it while it's warm. Let me see if it'll do it. One more time. Let me add a little bit more white in this area. This is where I want to warm it up. Oh, okay. Just warming up the paper seemed to do it. This is going to be a little darker. This here was definitely supposed to be white. And maybe just a smidge right here. And then maybe a bit right here on her lip. And then like above here is where I'd want it a little bit lighter too. With crayons, you kind of have to plan where you want your highlights to go. You could add them at the last minute, but it's kind of a hassle when you could have just left that area clear. Okay, one more time. Okay, let's see if that works. Yeah, it worked a little bit. Only thing is that I don't think you can melt colored pencil. Not these. You can probably get away with, well, you know what? I never tried. Not hardcore. Like, I didn't have like a whole bunch of colored pencil on there and then tried to melt it. Never tried that. Okay, let's see. Give her a little purple in her eyes to darken up that brown. So I think I'll give it a whack here. Let's see, this was the light tone. This one right here again was khaki. And khaki is kind of acting as my go-to white in the midst of my white's failure. And I'm just coating it heavily with khaki here, and some of these lighter parts reserved for white. And in some of these areas I'm just going to leave white altogether, like the color of the paper, because I wanted it to be a hot highlight. It's like where the light is hitting it the hardest. Alrighty, and use a little bit of the purple here. This is really dark in shadow here. So kind of the what I like doing is adding my highlights first, which is like the white, so I don't lose my highlight. Let me make this like a gradient here, going from dark to light. And then just warming up her skin. Just color over all of it. And in the back of your mind, kind of keep in mind, is this going to be warm colors? Is this going to be like a warm picture, or is it going to be a dark picture, like cool colors? What kind of feeling are you trying to give or portray? It's that's kind of heavy, intense thinking for a doodle. Yeah, it's a thought, though. It just giving a little bit more thought to your picture, especially if a story starts to emerge as you're drawing. Oops, 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 oops. Okay. This was supposed to be like a lighter tone here. Now, I know I could get this to blend if I use baby oil or Mona Lisa. What is this called? Mona Lisa. Like, it's a paint thinner. And I use that on my Crayola colored portrait of Gabrielle Sidibe. I did her holding a sword. If you guys happen to miss it, it's in my Crayola playlist. The song gets annoying after a while, and I apologize on that. But it was cool at the time. Yeah, but I used, I didn't use baby oil on that one. I used the Mona Lisa. The Mona Lisa is very toxic. It's an expensive art supply, and it's very toxic. Baby oil, not so much. Baby oil kind of, you know, you will have that baby oil smell for a while until it dries. And I'm going to add a little shadow to this right here. This one I'm going to have a little bit further away. And actually, this shadow should have gone with this one. And that makes this pop out a little bit more. And then to darken it up, throw some purple in there. And then a little bit more dark brown over that. Okay, I'm going to start encroaching a little bit into the white here that I had laid down. And it's not too bad. I think it's still doing its thing. And it's cool that the crayon will sit on top of the colored pencil. So that's no worry about it going away. Okay. Now I usually only hit it for about 5 seconds, but I'm leaving it on just a little bit more to see if I can get the colored pencil to melt a little bit. I know that the crayon will definitely melt. And it's melting into the skin, which is not a bad thing. And okay, another thing I want to try is melting, or actually warming up the paper and then trying the colored pencil. And maybe that might make it smoother. Let me try it. Okay, I hit it for like 10 seconds. Not bad. Not bad. It kind of works. And it's a little bit more pigmented. And it's overcoming the tooth of the paper. Yay, yay, yay. Yeah, the paper kind of, it's better than computer paper. Okay, I'm going to hit the neck. Okay, I got to leave in a bit. Okay, and then I'm going to use this lighter brown. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, this is nice. Okay, and I'm going to add a little bit of purple in one of these areas here. Let's see how that works for us. Because I kind of want it like a little bit of the purple to give her a little bit of color in her cheeks, but also come back with a little bit of this warm tone, and it kind of makes a mauve color. It's marvelous. Oh yeah, I think I'll do this from here on out. Warm up that paper, and these things glide. So yeah, it will work. And it's a lot less messy than the crayon. Crayon, you're like constantly brushing and brushing and brushing. But this stuff, it looks like it goes right on into the tooth of the paper. Yes, Queen, yes. It's a working, it's a working. And I'm not using any baby oil and or any of the other stuff there, the solvent that causes cancer and laboratory rats and people and whatnot. Okay, alrighty. Let's see, I got 2 more minutes and then I've got to vamoose and go catch a bus. So again, thank you so much for watching. Tune in tomorrow and I'll work a little bit more. I may even advance this a bit so that when you do see it, or rather no, I'm not going to do that. That way you can see it from beginning to end in real time, rather than it's like you come back and then like stuff is finished and in suspect, don't give me the side eye, y'all. And I think that's pretty cool, to see it evolve from beginning to end. Oh, I'm sorry. This color here is Mulberry. And I think that's a nicer color too. I could add that in her cheeks and in her eyeshadow. Alrighty. Okay, so right here is where I'm going to have to stop. I have to run. Again, thank you so much for watching. Welcome to my new subscribers. And this is where we are so far. It doesn't look as rich as on my screen as it does in reality. It looks beautiful to me. It's got like beautiful peach tones, and I'm just going to keep layering my colors on top of each other, and we're going to get even further. Alrighty, so stick with me, and you'll never be art hungry again, right? Have a great one. Take care. Bye-bye.